that hormone, and begins the awakening process that has to do with the pineal. That's why Jacob called the name of the place Pineal. For he has seen God face to face, and his life is preserved. God, seeing God, the sun hitting your eye. God, the sun. Plain and simple right there. And you got a lot of people sitting there trying to figure it out, but it's right there. And it's going to be hard to really get people to accept the parables, because a lot of people just think, oh man, you just changing the words around, or you mixing the words up. That's all you doing, and not really grasping what it's saying exactly, which we can prove in science and in medicine what's taking place. So these things are fact. So the likelihood that if this God did exist, that he would just for whatever reason go down there and start fighting and wrestling with Jacob, this man, for what? And he changed his name to Israel. Why? So when you understand, we all know Isis, Ra, El. Isis, dealing with the soul. Plain and simple. What does Isis do? She basically makes the soul whole. She repairs the soul. Not just any soul, dark souls. Isis is related to the moon. She deals with the moon. So nighttime, darkness, Isis. Ra. Ra is what? Ra is the pineal gland. Ra is the sun. So you have soul, mind. El, Saturn. What does Saturn deal with? Satan. Materialism, materialistic world. So you have soul, mind, material, body. Mind, body, and soul is Ra-El. Plain and simple. This is what it's talking about. And a lot of people are not going to be able to put that together, but conscious people. So melatonin basically is produced by the pineal gland, which basically regulates your sleep and basically keeps you on the right sleeping patterns. So you have people that suffer from insomnia and a lot of sleep related issues that take melatonin pills because their pineal gland does not create enough melatonin. And you have a lot of Europeans who have calcified pineal glands, so they're not producing enough melatonin and they have sleep issues. So you also have pinealocytes, which is basically the main cell of the pineal gland. And if you look at it, you see from the picture here, all those black dots is melanin. It's pure melanin. And the crazy thing is, the older you get, the more melanin forms around your pineal gland, to where you hit like around 80, 84. Your pineal gland is completely surrounded by melanin. You'll see in a lot of pineal glands in early age, it's more white with tiny little black freckles. And as you age, the melanin grows and grows and grows. The melanin itself, we're gonna get into this. Just basically understand, if you're not putting the right energy to that melanin, which is basically knowledge, to just cut it short, then just think about it as an electrical liquid, which we basically know absorbs all spectrum of light, electrical signals as well. So it basically can almost be programmed to basically help the pineal gland. It's something we'll get into later. I think I already touched on it though. But the melatonin process was basically that clock is basically what is the process of us awakening and sleeping, and the suprachiasmatic nucleus helps set all that off. But as we know melanin itself secretes in darkness, but melanin, when you're first born, it will not activate, it will not be active until light first hits it, until the sun hits it. And we know this to be true because you have seen black people have babies. Babies come out white, skin look white. What happens later? They get dark because the sun has hit the skin. So the melanin begins to react and gets darker as the sun hits it, as we all know this. So we have seen plenty of times, if you have kids, they come out light, later they dark, and it's because of the sun. Again, another reason why we look at the sun and why they revered the sun and talked about the sun as what the Europeans call God. Because of course we know without it, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to eat and live and exist. So you go to John 14:11. It says, "Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very works' sake. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also. Think about that. And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. Ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. Now, first of all, we all know that's some bullshit, because you ask Jesus for many things, you're not going to get it. This is where they get the whole thing that God and Jesus is the same being. You know, God, created himself, came back through Mary, and that's him, that's Jesus, just another part of him. And God and Jesus is one and the same. When Jesus is telling, God is in me and I am in God, he's talking about the pineal gland. Why? Because the pineal gland represents the sun. Plain and simple. It's talking about the sun. So it's talking about something that is here within us, as he says a million times. Is it not written in your book that I say ye are gods? You are gods. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And still, religious people don't want to grasp the concept and understand what it's talking about, and that it's talking about you and everything being within you. And when you go back to the ancient world, they're saying the exact same thing. And it's tough to get people to really be conscious and accept what we're saying, and to understand that this God that it's speaking of is you. Plain and simple. After all, as I keep saying, you got here from your mother. No matter how you want to put it and how you want to slice it, every single one of us are here because we came from our mom. Plain and simple. So we understand the only way you can get to the kingdom of heaven is if you be born again, as I talked about before, previous video. The woman, plain and simple. All of this really goes back to understanding that there is so much power and energy in things that we don't understand. And it's more to the sun than a lot of people really understand. That is the reason for us being where we are. And I have a whole video coming up on the sun that's going to be coming soon. But it's a lot we got to get into in that understanding. But again, this is just another one of those cases where when you look at the Bible, you can really break it down and understand how, just like in Kemet, is giving you things in parables that relates to nature and us, as basically telling us who we are and what's really going on. So I understand a lot of people want to go with the whole notion from the Bible that, God somehow put us here, and that God is responsible for the creation of our, souls, what have you. And this guy has never come forward to claim, that he's God or the creator, what have you. So you got to understand it's more to it than just that. You would think all of this being here, this God, would come and would not be playing some type of sick games or what have you. But one of the things you got to really look at, even still in that verse, I mean, if you say to Christians that you can be like Jesus, or you can be better than Jesus, or do things, do wonders better than Jesus, it's telling you right there in the verse. He says clearly that you're going to be able to do stuff better than this. You're going to be able to do the miracles that I'm doing and even better miracles. How? I mean, just think about what we're saying here. How is that possible with the interpretation of the Bible that we are given, by mainstream media and by, our churches? Clearly it's talking about something else. So also you look at 1 John 3:9. It says, whosoever is born of God doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of God. Now, there's a lot of Bible verses we can look at where it says that we are all born of God. We are all born of God. It's not specifically talking about Jesus here, and it's telling you that we are all born of God. But it's saying that if you are born of God, you cannot commit sin, which we know if we're born of God, we're capable of sin. So again, it's a lot of little inconsistencies in the Bible that we point to. And it's one of the things that a lot of people don't want to really, just admit. It's a lot of flaws, and they're not flaws really. It's not really an issue. It's just the interpretation of the verses that people are taking literally, or not really understanding what it's saying. And clearly, we're capable of sin. If we're supposed to be born of this God, we all can sin. That's the whole supposed reason for Jesus coming and dying or what have you, is for our sins, because we're sinners. Plain and simple. So you have to really look at the book and understand the parables in the book and what it's really speaking to. I understand not everything is spooky, and that's the first thing that a lot of religious people want to run to when you start talking or trying to really interpret the Bible, is that it's somehow, evil what you're doing. So when I start talking about meditation, I've heard from a lot of religious people, oh, you're yoking. You're yoking, you're leaving yourself open, you're going to open yourself up for demons and all kinds of stuff to get into you. I've heard people say that meditation is the key to Satan. It's going to lead you to Satan and demonic possession or what have you. And that's how people be getting possessed, because they're leaving themselves, they're opening themselves up. And they don't understand. First of all, one, you're always open. And it's not about you meditating and opening yourself up. It's the fact that, meditation is going to allow you to really take control over the fact that you're always open. So understand, if you wasn't always open, which open mean being able to feel energy and to allow energy within your consciousness, within your feelings. If that wasn't the case, if we wasn't open all the time, one, you wouldn't be able to know when there's tension in the room. You wouldn't be able to feel it if you wasn't open. So you can walk in a room and somebody just got finished fighting, or it's a heated argument, you're going to feel it. Why? Because you're always open. They wouldn't pay millions of dollars for commercials and spend all this time and money to advertise, make music, songs, what have you, if you wasn't always open, because they know you're always open. So they spend millions of dollars making these commercials and ads because you're always open. And they know you're always open for their suggestions, for their commercials, for their interpretations and everything they want to put in you to influence you one way or another, whether it be to buy a Coke or to buy a car. Either way, they know that you're open 24/7. So we can cut that. The whole thing about you yoking and you open yourself up and all that spooky stuff they be talking about, forget about it. Same thing. You're always open. You're always going to be able to feel the energy and receive it because you're always open. Meditation is going to help you control that whole process of what you take in and how you deal with it, and so many other things as well. So, we get to a point, again, where it comes down to either people want to accept the truth or go with the popular lie and really just try to be in their own world as far as what they want to accept and believe the Bible is and God is. Now, if you're real with yourself, you understand, where is he? Everything that the Bible says, I just read to you from the Bible where it says anything you ask, you're going to get. That's not true. So they trick you into thinking that you're a sinner, because you can't get what you want because you're a sinner, la, la, la. But there you have the preacher who's supposed to be talking to God and communicating with God and feeling the Holy Spirit and everything like that. He can't get what he wants from God either, because, he has to ask you guys. So you got to think about all this stuff and understand that you're being tricked. Now, when you understand that, before you move, before you talk, before you do anything, a thought occurs, because something has to be sent to your nerves to cause you to move. Plain and simple. We all understand that if you're shot or stabbed and a nerve is hit, that arm, that part won't function correctly. Plain and simple. Because the nerve is severed. It's a horrible experience. It's something that we have all seen people go through. The nerve is out of whack. It's no signals being able to go to it because the nerve is severed. That's energy. So it is a thought that occurs first that allows the energy to flow to these nerves. Thoughts are basically from your consciousness, plain and simple. And this is what we need to understand, that it's consciousness that creates the energy that allows us to move. That consciousness is what they're trying to give you as God. Now, it's misconstrued and it's put into a parable, of course, but you have to understand that consciousness creates energy. And when we look at physical matter, the biggest form of energy that we see, in this solar system is the sun itself. And it really fits in well with being, the God of basically, this solar system of us, because the sun is the most powerful, it's the most high when you really understand what's going on. So understanding that the sun, that energy, sparks the process of not only, getting us up in the morning, but we're talking about our food growing. Everything's set in motion. The animals, fish, you have bacteria that basically comes from the bottom of the ocean all the way up. They travel basically almost all day So about time they reach the surface, it's nighttime, so they can eat little bacteria and then go back down. You know, it's so much that happens because the sun rises and sets, and so much happens, so much life goes on this planet because of the sun. So we can't look at, I understand how people do this and look at the sun as being some kind of evil thing, when without it, you know, we wouldn't be here. So it's a lot more understanding people need to do, and understanding that God is one, man-made, and that creation, existence itself, how everything, you know, came to be because of consciousness. It's a real complex thing, but it's, you know, I try to put it to you guys simply and quickly in this video, so you can kind of sort of understand. I talk about this stuff a lot, but I like to answer questions, and I like to really, you know, prove my point when it comes to certain things. So, you know, to really answer the question, to really get into the whole thing with consciousness, and understand that material cannot be here, cannot exist without consciousness, without conscious people bringing it forward, and that consciousness cannot be put to one single solitary thing, because it's responsible for the creation of everything that we see. So, you know, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Thank everybody who purchased and support. Trust me, take advantage of getting the flash drive deal, because it's only going to be up for a week and then it's coming back down. And definitely look out for numbers and Deuteronomy, which is going to be crazy. You want to see that. And I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch again, and see you next video.